Hello, welcome back to the Abundance Club. I am your host, Amy. Thank you for tuning in. I've just had a laugh with myself, at my humanness, at how imperfectly perfect we are and every situation is. I just recorded this podcast episode and I don't know, probably about halfway through, and I realized that I'm holding my microphone with a cord that's not plugged into my computer. So here it is. This is the rawness and the realness of me. We have to laugh at ourselves and it's all perfect. So here I am. I am plugged in. I'm here. I'm tuned in. And if you are here listening to this podcast, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so after my laugh, I really felt called to speak to something that I feel like so many of us are meeting within ourselves. And I'm really confident that this episode is going to help you. So buckle up, get ready. And I'm actually going to gift you with something at the end of the episode, a really tangible way to transcend the suffering that I feel many are experiencing right now, because this suffering is ultimately a choice. But unless we know how to alchemize it, it will continue to pull us down into those lower vibrational states. And like no one likes playing in those states. It doesn't really serve us. So I want to gift you with something. So make sure you to stay tuned until the end of this podcast to get that. Okay, and what I'm really referring to is this waiting room that it can feel like we're in when you've been doing the work and you don't want to go back to your old life, like you've passed that, you kind of feel like you've let go of that, the old programming, but you feel like the new one hasn't quite landed yet. It hasn't quite solidified in the 3D. So I really want to help you in this episode in not only navigating this juncture, but collapsing the gap in this juncture. Okay. So make sure that you stay tuned to the end of the episode. But also, before we dive in, could you please make sure you hit the follow button on whatever app you are listening to or watching this on? You subscribing in this way by a very simple press of a button is what helps to support the growth of this channel and this podcast reaching more people around the world who could benefit from listening to this. So that helps so much. It is my mission to reach as many people as possible, to help them remember who they are and become the conscious co-creators of their life in their most empowering and joy-filled way. So thank you so much for your support with that. If you can review this podcast, that is even better. That helps so much. So thank you in advance for that. And it takes 2 seconds. I have this habit now of I know how much the support of podcasts helps the podcasters to grow, that I offer so much love in just going and reviewing different podcasts that I love, because I know how much that helps. So such good karma and good vibes. All right. Where I want to start with is just firstly by saying I know what it can feel like when you feel like you are ready to draw into your world a bigger vision, when you are ready for your situation to change, right? Maybe that's for your financial situation to improve, for your relationships or your marriage to improve, or maybe you're wanting to call in your soulmate relationship, or you're wanting your business to finally take off, or you're looking for a new home to buy, but it feels like everything is falling through or just doesn't feel like right, anywhere you look. Basically, you are not getting what you've asked for, or at least not in the way that you think, or not in the timing that you think, right? But you're also like, you look around and it feels different. You're not quite where you were, and you're clear on that. Like, at least you're clear on what you're intending. But right now, you are in that in between where it can feel like you're in this dark void. And right now, I'm recording this around the time, like just before the upcoming new moon in Libra, the October new moon. We're about to enter Scorpio season, which is my birthday season and birthday month. So, like, all of the good vibes. But I know it can feel extra heightened just before this new moon, and particularly this current one. So you can actually feel like you're extra just in this dark unknown. And even when you have been patient, you've been practicing patience, even when you've been doing all of the inner work and you've been praying for a miracle, maybe you've been talking out loud to the Creator and you're feeling ready to receive, but you look around and still nothing, right? So maybe you're in the wondering, maybe you're in the waiting, or you're looking outside and you're questioning, like, where is it? Why hasn't it happened yet? Is it ever going to happen? Maybe you're starting to think, like, what is the point of all of this? Maybe you feel like you want to give up on your dream. You're like, this is bullshit. You want to throw in the towel. You question, does any of this even work? Trust me, hand on heart, I have been there many times. And every time, in fact, when I am calling in a bigger manifestation, I go through that portal, that dark unknown. So I am not just saying this, right? I have lived this and I support people through this. So I've become somewhat of an expert in navigating this. For whatever reason, life has prepared me many times and times over so that I can support people in moving through this. Okay. So, what I can tell you is this feeling of being broken, of wanting to give up, it is not a point of weakness, it's not a point of failure. And I actually start to get excited about this particular portal, this point, because it's actually when you are on the precipice of the miracle landing, when we are actually in a really powerful position. So I want to help you to work this, right? Work with this time rather than have it work you, right? So this is shifting from victim consciousness into victory consciousness. It is when we get to a point where we want to throw in the towel, when we can no longer, we've used everything in our toolkit. Okay, we can no longer figure it out. It's that point that the light can finally come in because we stop being in resistance. The ego actually loses its grip. It's releasing. Try as it might, I can't figure it out, right? That's the small self. And so it surrenders and says, okay, I got to go bigger. And I've spoken about this before, that when that's happened and I've handed over in that way, that the manifestations have landed, right? It's that power of letting go and handing over and getting out of our own way, that this surrender is the sacred portal. But we create within ourselves so much suffering, and you can probably feel that if you're in this point because it's not comfortable, right? But we create so much suffering that's born from this juncture that's created between where we perceive ourselves to be right now and where we would desire ourselves to be. And notice I use the word perceive ourselves to be because often what we're seeing, what we're witnessing is not the truth of the situation. It's just what we can see. And we can only see, in essence, in truth, scientifically backed, we can only see less than 1% of what is actually occurring, what is actually reality. So we are in resistance to what is. We're actually in the illusion that we are not precisely where we are meant to be right now. And so, what happens when we assume this, or more correctly, when our ego assumes this, we are not trusting in the bigger plan, in the higher level orchestration that's playing out in the background, in the unseen that's always playing out in the background. So instead, we falsely believe that if it's not happening right now, according to what I can see, touch, feel, experience, or it's not happening in the way that I expect it to, something is wrong. Alarm bells go off, right? I've missed a step. I've messed something up along the way. Maybe you've feel like God has forgotten about you, or your angels have taken a leave of absence, or your guides are on a sabbatical, right? Either that, or you feel like you have missed something, or you have not visualized hard enough, or you've not done enough affirmations, right? Like, realize that this is not the true you saying all of this. This is all coming from your ego consciousness. Can you relate? On and on and on the stories go. We are so incredibly creative as humans, and the length that our ego mind goes to in conjuring up all of the ways that we have fallen short or made a wrong move. If our desires haven't manifested in the way or the timing that we expect, right? Or if despite our hopes, we feel stuck, confused, overwhelmed, defeated, we get so good then at blaming ourselves because, of course, right? Of course, if something has not happened in the way that we want it to, if our manifestation isn't arrived in the timing that we would expect, we think it's our error. We think we've screwed up. And this is where the ego is playing God, right? It's saying, well, of course it must be me because why else would things be this way, right? So we edge God out. Like that's the acronym here for the ego in this way, like edging God out. So we narrow focus on our will, our plan, our timing, our way, according to our small self, which is also our wounded self, which is also our conditioned self. And so we try to play God and we forget. We forget that life is unfolding precisely as it's meant to, in the most divine timing, which newsflash is definitely going to conflict with the ego timing, okay? I'm just putting that out there. And in ways far, far greater than what we could even conjure up as possible. Because so often we play small and we play safe when it comes to our dreams, right? Because quite often we are doing that with our logical mind. Unless you're being taught by a manifestation coach like me to dream big, to go bigger. I see this all of the time with people. It's not big enough. We go really safe, really small because we're doing it according to our logical mind. So, backtracking for a step, what does divine timing mean exactly? It means that you will receive your manifestation. You will shift to this new timeline that you feel like you're not quite there yet in the precise moment, not a moment before or after, when your vessel is prepared through the lessons your soul needs to learn, through the baggage that you need to clear out from your life, from your energetic beings, right? So think of like clearing out the old clothes from your closet. For the new ones to come in, we have to make space and move out, get rid of what no longer fits. So here I'm talking about relationships, old beliefs, behaviors, habits. You know what they are because life at the moment is presenting you. You don't need to look for it. You know what it is, what those relationships are, what the old beliefs are, what the patterns are. Life is showing you right now. But maybe it feels too uncomfortable to let it go, to pare it back because like, who am I without that? Right? We get scared of that loss because we think that stripping away is a loss rather than seeing it as a preparation. And so life waits. Life waits. And it just gives us new opportunities to prepare. Divine timing means that life is waiting for you to become the version of you who can live this reality. In essence, to become the version of you who is living this reality already, because time is not linear. Everything is happening right now, which means that there is an evolved version of you who is living this reality that you desire right now, who has the home, who's in the soulmate relationship, who has the bank balance you want to have, whose business is thriving. That version of you exists right now, right? The one who is ready to steward the financial abundance, the one who is the match for the soulmate. Whatever it is that you are asking for, you are being prepared to become her, to become the vibrational match for that reality. This is why you join the Abundance Club community, to shift the identity from the one who lives on the older timeline where you've been or where you might still be hanging out to the one who's living this new abundant reality. Like, this is the work that we do inside the membership. We can't manifest the new reality as the same person who is dwelling in the old reality, wondering where is it and why hasn't it happened. It just doesn't work. So what this means is that if it hasn't arrived, it's for a reason. You haven't messed up. You haven't missed a step. You are right now being lovingly prepared. I know it doesn't always feel like loving. I know it feels scary. It feels like the cracking and the crumbling, but it's like the new roots of a plant are being established in the void, in the dark soil, before you see the sprouts and eventually the blooming and the thriving. Know that that season of your life is here. It's coming. But we can't rush this process despite the ego's attempts. And the more that we try to rush it and the more that we resist what is, the longer it's going to take. We need to understand that this preparation is sacred. It's to ensure that you have and that you are the stable, strong vessel that can hold the light. And the light being the goal, the dream, the manifestation. You know what it is for you. Which, by the way, I can assure you, if you have been doing the work, that manifestation, that dream is actually bigger and better than you have imagined. And this may actually also be why it's taking a little bit longer. Bigger dream, bigger preparation portal that you go through. So this period that you're in right now, as uncomfortable as it is necessary. And the only problem is you thinking that there's a problem. The only block is you're thinking that there's a block. I'm so tired of seeing all of these different people talk about like, I'm blocked and I've got to get rid of my blocks. And you know, if you know me and you listen to this podcast, I don't like this over identification with the blocks, because then we are reinforcing it. We're perpetuating it. Okay, so the only block, the only problem, the only illusion is you being in resistance to what is, to knowing that you are exactly where you're meant to be. If you listen to my podcast episode, I think it was episode 88, and I think it was about I think it's called Stop Needing, Start Attracting. I'll pop the link in the show notes. The irony is when we find acceptance to what is, when we stop resisting, when we stop needing, when we stop being in lack of the thing, and we instead shift our vibration to fall in love with where we are, accept it, have trust in the ways that our vessel is being prepared, and we say yes to doing the inner work, right? And this is where a coach or at least a community is imperative. It is then that you can receive it, because your situation can change in an instant, my friends. Your miracle can land in a moment. So if you're thinking like, oh, it's a long way ahead and I've got to do all this work, I want to remind you that miracles can happen in a moment. Your situation can change in a moment. But it's the suffering born from the resistance that creates the disharmony in our system. And it creates a distorted signal out into the universe instead of a clear and coherent signal, which is what is needed to energetically magnetize in that new reality. All right. As I've said many times before, if you've been listening to this podcast, life reflects our dominant energetic vibration. So if your dominant state is confusion, overwhelm, questioning, doubting, I don't need to explain to you like what you're going to then experience of more in your life. You'll just perpetuate more of that. Instead, we require certainty. And this is certainty above logic, certainty beyond logic and reason and probability. It's to pause and take stock and do the internal inventory and remind yourself that life is in your favor. It loves you so much. It is happening for you and through you. You are the conduit, the co-creator. And when we remember this, we shift out of that victim consciousness into victory consciousness, right? This is really, really powerful. You've got the choice to do that. The thing is to shift out of that victim consciousness, because that can be really familiar and really comfortable. It just takes that conscious effort, that choice, and the follow through, right? So when we remember that we have the ability to do that, to make that shift, we see that this too, this period that we're in, this void, this preparation, this painful situation, this loss, this stripping away of all the people who are not meant to come with you into this next phase, like whatever it is, all of it is a gift. When you can do this, and only when you are really ready to do this, you will shift into powerful, abundant, co-creative mode. You become magnetic because you say to the creator, okay, I accept this. I get it. This is divine. This is a gift. I let go of my small self, of my controlling self. I can't figure this out with my mind. I can't hustle my way like I used to. Maybe you've done that before. And this is when we can look around and go like, holy crap, these old tools that I've used previously, they don't work anymore. That was on a different level of the game. You've already nailed that level. Like that's done. And I found this when I got to that point of surrender for my business sale. I was like, all of the old tools that I've used to maybe manifest selling and buying a new house or a relationship or whatever, these old tools don't work anymore. It's like they worked on the old level of the game, but you're entering into a whole new level here, a higher reality that your soul has asked for. This is a different frequency here. Those old tools, that old program does not work. You got to surrender. You got to partner with the divine. You got to get out of your way. You've got to actually embody the you who is living that reality now. And that can be uncomfortable. We need to understand what our job is, and the how is not our business, right? God doesn't make mistakes. So appreciate that all of this that you are in right now is for you, and your job is to commit to your frequency, to hand over the control, to let go of the micromanaging and get into your feminine receiver mode. And you do the work to become the version of you who's already living this parallel reality. And this is the work, my friends, that we do inside the membership via the live monthly teachings and the coaching, as well as all of the somatic work, the practices that's inside the portal, like you've got a whole plethora of them that actually shift you into the vibration where your manifestation becomes an inevitability. And all of this is available to you less than a couple of coffees a week. Like, it's wild the things that we prioritize that are not actually serving our growth and our evolution, and the things that we resist doubling down on that actually move the needle. We're so funny when we're in our conditioning. Because this journey, you guys, it's not one that's about, like, it's not about hoping and wishing. It's about becoming. And I could say this over and over and over and over again. It's the identity work, it's the becoming. But what that requires from you is action every day. It requires you doing the thing that you might be in avoidance of. It requires you showing up and being in the practices. And what I'm going to give you today, I'm going to give you a practice. I am gifting this to you. This is one of the many practices that you get inside of the Abundance Club membership, which you can join via the link in the bio if you want to. You get a 7-day free trial, so it's no commitment. If you're commitment phobic, don't worry, you can cancel at any time. But you guys, I want to be really clear here. Like, I do these practices that are inside of the Abundance Club portal. I do them every day. Every day. So I'm gifting you one of these for free if you just click on the link in the show notes. It is my birthday this week, and so I am feeling extra generous. But this is a subliminal affirmation practice that will reprogram your subconscious to be in the energy of receivership and become a vibrational match for your desires. And I love this one. It's actually really fun. It's called It's Happening. Right? And it brings you into one of the most powerful states that we can be in that will collapse time and close the gap between where you are and where you want to be. It alchemizes the suffering, right? And brings you into the it is done energy. So this literally shifts you out of the waiting and the wanting and the searching and the wondering where it is, right? Which keeps you on that lower timeline. Every time that we look at our current reality and we question, it just keeps reinforcing that reality that we're ready to transcend, right? It's so powerful. I've been doing this for a few days now, and I can feel the powerful shift of my inner state. And you guys, it's when we shift our inner state that the outer world has no choice but to shift to become a match for it. This isn't fancy woo stuff. It's vibrational law. This is science. And the truth of the matter is, we are being programmed subliminally every day, and not in a good way. Like, just look at Netflix and look at the news and look at a lot of the songs that we listen to that actually really aren't life affirming lyrics. Like, just start to notice the way, scrolling through Instagram, like the way that you are being subconsciously programmed, subliminally programmed. And so much of our world we create via our subconscious, which runs our belief systems, the habits, the identity patterns, the energetic set points, all of which shape our reality. So your subconscious frequency is the one that the universe mirrors back to you. So we want to get in there and we want to do the work to reprogram it, because otherwise we're running that old operating system. So your conscious mind might set the intention, but it's your subconscious mind that determines whether you receive it. So this practice is super powerful. It's an hour-long subliminal affirmation practice that will change your world. You will hear for the first 5 minutes me saying the affirmations, and then they're going to fade into the background. And this is the beauty of it. Like, they simply work to reprogram your subconscious while you rest, sleep, eat, work. Like, you can just have these in your ears all of the time or whenever you want to, because it's not distracting. It's actually to the theta vibration. So it brings you into that theta state, which means that your subconscious is super open to impressions. And these are really positive impressions, right? I've got ones in the membership that are about financial abundance, that are about deepening your intuition. Like that's all there, but this one is super fun. So click in the link in the bio if you want to either join the Abundance Club membership or get your free subliminal and start to access this practice. So that is my gift to you, my friends, to move out of the static of doubt that so many of us are in. And I get it. It's a really big time that we are moving through right now. I'm not going to lie, like everybody is feeling it. You are not on your own if you are feeling this. So use the support and the resources that are available to you to shift out of doubt and into the vibration of certainty. And trust me, this is the powerful shift that magnetizes those deeper desires. So enjoy, and please don't forget to review if you received something from this. Share it with someone you care about, and go out there and have the most beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you so much for listening. Bless you.